Alright, what's good, people? What's good? What's good? What's good? Lamar is going to be great. I think so too. Let's get into it. I got a few things I want to get off my chest first, and then we can get into a little Q&A. Let's see how many people we got in here so far. There we go. See what we got. What's up, God's child? I see you. Appreciate you tuning in. I'm just going to keep the logo go scrolling. So, I got a few points I want to talk on, and we can answer a few questions. Obviously, I've been out of the fold for a minute. Been taking care of some personal business. Got my own little football situation going on, and making sure I take care of them kids. So, I've been watching my Ravens stuff on the back end. I've been watching Joe Nubo and Sonny and Ing Raven, and they've been doing their thing, coming out videos every day or on the regular, Sonny and them do the podcasts on Tuesdays and Thursdays maybe or something like that. So I've been in the cut, just not live and as vocal as I usually am, but shout out to those guys for keeping the Ravens content going. I appreciate them. If you don't subscribe to those guys, make sure you do. Sonny is SCG Sports. Joe Nubo is Joe Nubo, and Ing Raven is Ing Raven Vids. Make sure you check those guys out. When I'm out of the fold. So I got a few points I want to get off my chest, and this live may be short, but then we'll answer questions if need be. First thing from the Ravens mandatory minicamp this week. I think they had 3, if not 4, practices this week, and I want to start off by talking about DeShon Elliott. DeShon Elliott was the guy I had on the borderline of making my 53-man roster when I did the predictions earlier in the year, and he apparently he's opening some eyes. I think Earl Thomas talked about him. A couple other guys talked about he was making plays, but based off what I'm reading, the little film I saw, he may work himself in that rotation. Our defensive backfield is going to be pretty darn good. He can get himself in that rotation, and I'm sure he's taking advantage of those reps because Tony Jefferson is limited with that ankle surgery. But, shouts out to DeShon Elliott. I don't mind eating my words. I'll eat my crow when I'm wrong, and I'll say I'm right when I'm right. But I had DeShon Elliott on the verge, the very teetering line of making that 53-man roster that I predicted. And I actually predicted 52 of them, and I left that last spot open. And a lot of guys said DeShon Elliott should have been the one that made that roster. So, he's showing that the Ravens fan, the Ravens faithful, know their stuff. And he was going to make that roster. Yeah, I think Wesley may make it too. So I may be wrong on that one, but I think Wesley's gonna make it too. I'll wait and see what preseason camp does. All right, the second point I want to touch on: Lamar's better mechanics. I'm gonna talk about day 3 because I recently saw some stuff about what he did from day 3. So apparently they had a 7-on-7 session from the 5-yard line. He had 7 plays, and out of those 7 plays, he had 5 touchdowns, which to me is a great percentage. Because some of those plays are probably going to be run when you put 11 on 11. But it's hard to throw the ball inside 10 and 5-yard line. And for him to have 5 interceptions out of 7 plays, that's a great percentage for me. Looking at different videos from different people that are actually at practice, Lamar seems to have better mechanics, not the best, but better mechanics. And his deep balls, which he was already good at the deep ball, but they seem to have more turnover now. And what that means is when he throws the deep ball, the nose is pointed up. But as it gets closer to his target, the nose points down, and that's an easy wait for guys to catch the ball and be able to pull it in and judge it and go from there. And some guys throw the ball and it stay flat the whole time, and it doesn't get the accuracy that it needs to. But he's doing a good job of turning the ball over, and he was already fairly decent at the deep ball anyway. It was his intermediate to short routes that he needed to get more accurate on, and his footwork and mechanics will help him get more accurate on that. And I saw some videos where, like early in I think this was the OTA, because I hadn't done a video in a while. People were complaining about him throwing wobbly passes. But all those wobbly passes I saw in those videos, and I'm sure it's edited, to make him look good, were caught balls. The thing is throwing a catchable ball. I don't care how hard it is, how tight the spiral is. If it's a catchable ball, that makes a world of difference. You can throw it 200 miles per hour and with a tight spiral and no receiver gonna catch it. It does the team no good. But him throwing a catchable ball and him being more accurate, whether it's wobbly or not, that doesn't matter to me. I just, I want him to be accurate, have great mechanics, and complete the ball and stay ahead of the chains. All right. So he looks like he's progressing with his mechanics. I also read where he's trying to get a workout session with the receivers and the running backs, I guess, to work on timing and different plays and whatnot. And basically fine tune that playbook, since they got a whole new playbook, which apparently he didn't think they were going to get a whole new playbook. But he's a professional. He got time to learn it, and hopefully he has learned most of it by now. The third point I want to touch on, which has been the topic of many vlogs and videos and whatnot, is Michael Pierce. Bruh, how can you show up that much overweight? And football is your job. Football is your only job. How can you show up that much overweight and you don't come to OTAs? The WTF? Dude, I don't understand. I mean, like, pay a chef, pay a trainer, work out from 8 to 12, 1 to 5, whatever your time slot works, but work out, come back in shape. Your job is football. Now, there's a lot of us out there that's going to talk about Pierce, and a lot of us are not in the best shape. But football probably ain't our number one job. You probably have a real 9 to 5 doing other stuff where our being a fine-tuned machine is not the main goal of our job. So that's why we can kind of criticize you, because your job is football. Now, had you had a health issue or family issues, that's different. And if you had those things, I apologize. I beg off of it. But if not, football is your job, man. Stay in shape. Back in the old days, people used to come to camp out of shape, and they would use camp to get in shape. That don't fly no more, man. That don't fly at the high school level. That don't fly at the college level. And it doggone sure don't fly at the professional level. Get your butt off that couch. Drop the Twinkies. Get in the weight room. Get on a treadmill. Get on the elliptical. Something. And come back. And I started to put up a picture of him last year and him now. But I ain't want to go that far, because it's serious, but it's not that serious. I don't know what he does in his off time. I don't know if he has health issues or what. But
it's no
go.
big deal that you don't know.
Siri in the background listening. All right, Siri, be quiet. But anyway, moving on. Siri done threw me off. My next point. Luminor is holding down that left guard spot. So far, he's the guy that's fighting with Lewis and Powers and Hurst. And right now, he's winning that left guard spot. I appreciate. Oh, you heard Siri in the background? That's the feds. Yeah, the feds are watching. But anyway, Luminor is holding down that left guard spot over Hurst, Powers, and others right now. And I still don't think he's gonna be the starter. I still think by the time the season gets here, or maybe 4 or 5 weeks into the season, Powers will be that guy. Because if Powers and Luminor are on the same level, obviously you go with the younger guy, and if he can pick up the blocking schemes and the nuances and whatnot, it is what it is. But I'm going with Powers to win that job, even though Luminor, if I'm pronouncing it right, y'all correct me, is holding it down right now. And the last main point I got is the competition at wide receiver and inside linebacker. We have no elite players at either one of these positions. And I say elite, I mean like top-notch NFL guys. I would suggest that all the wide receivers make sure they get to Lamar's gathering or whatever he's having to work on timing, route combinations, routes on air, things of that nature. I would suggest all of those receivers get to wherever he's having there. If it's in Pompano, if it's in Miami, if it's in Baltimore, if it's in the owner's backyard, wherever it is, you guys need to get there and work on that timing so we can come back and have a for real competition. Because by not having an elite guy in that room, that means all those positions are open pretty much, with the exception of maybe Sneed and Brown. All those other positions are gonna be open. I think we carried 6 last year, so 4 guys. It's 4 positions for about 8 guys. Battling out for it. So, and for as an inside linebacker, obviously we know we have inside linebacker, and I still think it's gonna be tough to beat out Peanut and Kenny Young. A lot of those other guys are, I don't want to say no name guys, but they're lesser name guys. Played at small schools and didn't have a lot of fanfare. So I think it's really gonna be tough to beat Peanut and Kenny Young, but time will tell. And those are my takeaways from mandatory minicamp. It was some things happening at OTAs. I don't really want to speak on it, so I'm back up. I got my computer back working, and if they got any questions out there, I see Godchild's in here going back and forth with me. I see Omar Griffin. I appreciate you guys being here. See if we got anybody else in here that I need to shout out. Yes. Who else is in here? Give me a thumbs up if you're in here listening. And yeah, Siri, we know you in here listening. You the feds. See, my phone lit up again. But anyway, if you got any questions, shoot them real quick. Cut my computers. Hey, with the backups behind him, I can see that happening. We drafted a guy, then we got Gerald Willis as an undrafted guy. I can see Michael being cut. If he don't come back in a lot better shape, I can really see it. I would love to have him. He's a great defensive guy, but I mean he can't do stuff out of shape like that. He can't have him playing 1 or 2 plays and like he done for a quarter. We do have Mac, we do have Gerald, yep, and I like both of those guys. I definitely like Gerald. Being a Miami fan myself, it really amazed me that Gerald went undrafted, but he has no room for error. He has no room for error, especially we got Brandon, and then we got Mac, we got Gerald, we got some other guys that can play. Come back out of shape if you want to. You got like 5 weeks to get it right. You got 5 weeks to get yourself together and pass that conditioning test. Because I did see where Harbaugh said a bunch of guys have already passed the conditioning test. He is not one of those bunch of guys that passed it. But I would be supremely embarrassed to come out to practice, go through stretch, and my coach send me in basically because I'm too big. Just think about that. You're a football player. You got mandatory practice. You come out, put your little tight jersey on or whatever, go out there and stretch. Coach walk out, because he probably walk out later and be like, "Ooh, Lord, get him out of here. He too big. What you been eating? What you been doing?" So how embarrassing is that? But I did see while DC and other guys have now, that is out in the open that he's overweight, has jumped on his jumped in to support him and saying they're gonna support him and get to the weight he needs to be. But he still has to put the onus on himself to get that weight off of him. Now keep in mind, he's a stud. He's a stud. He's a great player. But your best thing you can have in the NFL is availability. If you overweight and you can't stay out there no more than 1 or 2 plays, that's crazy. Snacking ain't even a word. He been eating. Davis, he been eating. So he ain't been snacking on Twinkies and whatnot. He been putting down steak and potatoes for the most part of it. But still, it is what it is. Make sure if you guys have not, check out that merchandise on teespring.com, and I'll have a little clip of that right before I cut it out. But if any guys got any questions, make sure you follow me on Twitter at Coach Evans 9. Make sure you hit me up on Instagram at Sip the Tally, and also Sip the Tally other stuff. His Instagram stores were food, so that makes a lot of sense, Cravens and Raven. A lot of sense. Probably a lot of food at that. But let me jump in this Teespring thing right quick. See if there we go. Make sure coach we had the stands for film, then more film, or fruit, tomatoes, and more fruits. Then you can pop on over and get your athlete shirt for all those former athletes that mentally we still got it, physically we just don't have it anymore. Then you can check out the different products I have with the Ravens RoundUp design on them. T-shirts, sweatshirts, cell phone cases, all that good stuff. And again, this is Coach Evans, and I appreciate you. Salute. Hey, again, guys, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, get you some merch. Subscribe to those other Ravens guys that's knocking it out real quick. So, I got a question in here. Before I get out here, let me answer this question. Who do you think wins the punt return job, Cyrus or Hollywood? Honestly, I don't think either one of those guys win it. I think Hollywood's going to be too valuable because he's hurt. I think Cyrus is hurt now. I read today where Snead and a couple of other guys were going to win that job. But I really think it's going to be Tavon. Honestly, I think it's going to be Tavon Young. Tavon was one of those guys that in that article I read, and I can see Tavon being more explosive than Willie Snead, because Willie Snead's going to be one of our primary guys, and Tavon's number 3, well, technically our number 4 corner, but number 1 slot guy. So I think Tavon's going to be our returner going forward. Any other questions before I cut him out? Hey, again, it's Coach Evans with Sip the Talent Films, guys. Ravens Roundup. I appreciate you and see you next time.